Meeting in regular session on Thursday, April the 4th at 6 p.m. at the county office in Hamlin. At this time, I'm going to ask Board Member Butchie Burns to lead us in the pledge and ask the public to join us.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amy, do we have anybody for public comment? Okay, thank you.
Chairman.
All right, this time we're under item 3, presentations and reports. And we have a former student and a teacher with us today to have a presentation and report. And Jenny, before we get started, I have a little inkling. You had asked for an executive session from the board at one time, and a board can't meet in executive session to hear personnel issues with personnel issues. We can only deal with personnel when it's recommended by the superintendent. Not that we didn't want to hear you, but that's not the role of the board. We only have one employee, and that's superintendent. Okay, at that time, I'll ask you to come to the podium, Jenny.
Take a whole lot of your time.
Is that on?
Heck it, Jen.
Yes.
I was going to sing.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes. I can hear you, everyone.
I wasn't gonna say that. I wasn't gonna say it.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jenny Perry, and I am here to deliver a presentation on the relation to an employee, non-employee situation. So without further ado, let us get started. It is important that all incidents involving board-approved employees or volunteers within our school system are handled with utmost care and adherence to procedures. As a parent, I was unfortunately subjected to an unpleasant incident on January 2nd, 2024, when a county auxiliary coach approached me after a practice in front of my son and other onlookers. The county auxiliary coach displayed improper etiquette and conduct, which was unacceptable and unprofessional. Despite this, I have not received any information on the handling of this incident from either in-house or central office administration, which is concerning as a parent. Although the individual was removed from their position 5 days after the incident, he still had 5 days with impressionable children, whereas action should have taken place immediately by in-house administration and/or head coach. Let me put this in perspective. I'm going to give you a fictional scenario. It's not long. Let us say at the end of the school day, I take my class out for parent pickup and dismissal. When I notice a parent waiting to take their child home, who's in my class, I feel the need to address an issue with them. I escort the child to their parent's car, parked on the school grounds, and the parent is patiently waiting inside their car. However, I regret that in the heat of the moment, I start using unprofessional language and expressions such as, the next time you want your child, you come through me. And if you don't like that, you could take your child and go to a different school. Do you hear me? Now note, during this, there's another board employee standing behind me as I am saying this, who did not go get the principal or seek any other help or try to alleviate the situation. Okay, I was approached in that same manner on that evening of January the 2nd, 2024. This scenario is very similar, except I refrained from using an aggressive tone and words that were spoken to me and my son that evening in this scenario. I understand that as an educator, I'm expected to follow the county and state code of conduct and the proper etiquette established by my school and my county. I realize if my behavior is not in line with these expectations, that I will take full responsibility for my actions. That will be made sure of by my in-house administration, I guarantee, because that's the protocol. However, I do know the proper codes of conduct as a board-approved hired employee, and I am committed to maintaining a professional and respectful environment for both students and parents. This was not the case with my son and me on January 2nd, 2024, after a practice. That board hired auxiliary employee did not adhere to codes of conduct or proper etiquette with me, the parent, and did not do it in front of my child, which was their player. And it took place in front of onlookers. That is why I'm asking for a few reasonable requests tonight. So I'm here today to ensure that such incidents are handled efficiently and transparently. I'd like to go over just a few key points. I'm confident that I, along with my son, will receive answers regarding the incident that occurred on a January evening while leaving a practice. As a parent, it's my right to know why certain behavior was excused or not excused by the athletic director or in-house administration. I would like to request a formal meeting with the coaches and administration to address the issue and provide me with satisfactory response. It's essential to hold individuals accountable for their actions. I'm asking that each coach give my son and myself an apology in written form. If not written, then a spoken one will suffice. I do not think in any way that is unreasonable, considering that would be expected out of me, who is also a board-approved hiree. Parents trust school employees and volunteers with their children, safety and well-being, and it's a responsibility that parents we take very seriously. To maintain high standards of conduct, we must all follow established guidelines when dealing with conflicts, particularly with parents. It is important that we do not try to resort to resolving issues or disputes in public, such as after a practice, and instead take prompt action by following the proper protocol set in place by the school and county central office. Just as I am clear on the code of conduct at my workplace and would not act abruptly towards a parent picking up their child from school, the same applies to coaches and other board-approved employees and volunteers in the county. These parents deserve respect, just as I deserved respect on that evening of January 2nd, 2024, as well as my son. I am suggesting tonight that any person that is board approved and hired, especially volunteers and civilian coaches of any sort, be sat down personally with the athletic director and administration of that school and be presented thoroughly the codes of conduct and then signed to adhere to them. It is apparent some do not understand the code of conduct in its entirety. Like I mentioned before, I have not yet received any information about the reason behind the incident or the actions that have been taken. I'm assuming that's privileged information because action, I believe, should have been taken place in some type of session at some point, since I immediately reported it to administration the evening of and the morning of. But I am speculating. It is crucial that we take measures to prevent such incidents from recurring. This will help build parents' trust in leaving their children in their care. I appreciate your cooperation in adhering to these guidelines as we work together to create a safe and welcoming environment for all families. Excuse me. In summary, I still feel uneasy about how certain leaders handled my situation. I do appreciate Superintendent Barnett. Thank you for coming and checking on me for my health and well-being. However, I think Mr. Barnett did not know the head coach or other coaches or athletic director never reached out in any way to myself or my son, ever. I understand that we are all human and equal in many aspects. Being an adult and a leader in my field, I realize the importance of resolving conflicts appropriately and apologizing if necessary. If I have hurt or affected someone negatively, I'm responsible for making amends in a timely and appropriate manner with the assistance of my superiors if required. It is not appropriate to address such issues in front of children who are vulnerable and impressionable. My experience during this ordeal has left me feeling unsupported and alone. And my entire family and friends, they feel that same sentiment. When you need support from your administration or your son's leaders and they become silent, you feel avoided. It speaks volumes. I will conclude with one of my father's favorite quotes. All that is necessary for the unjust to win is that good men do nothing. That was going to be the end. But as I was coming over, I just had one little I just wanted to say. I'd like to add that this ordeal has left me seeking medical help and prevented me from working many days. I couldn't go out in public. This incident should have been resolved better and in a timely manner. I felt as if the in-house administrations and coaches just blew it off. And as a parent, that's extremely hurtful and definitely uncalled for. I appreciate your time. I have a folder for each of you, and it's only for you. It goes to no one else. The public will not see this, but I think it's pertinent that you have this.
Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate your concern and, you got one of those, right? Okay, and Mr. Barnett will look at that, and I'm sure get back to you.
I want to thank you, and I think most of us are headed out. Be safe in the room.
Thank you very
Be
much.
safe.
All right, next speaker is Sue Burton for Community Contacts and Family Engagements.
Try to be good, old feller.
Harry,
Right.
good seeing you again.
Yes, it is good to see you.
Gary.
Come back, Harry.
I will.
Get your back. Everybody knows him.
Well, how are you, man? It's good to see you again. How long has it been?
That Miss
Just a
Conrad
few
Lucas
years.
right there?
Yeah, it is. You all just barely behind me. I'll be 77. I'll be 77. Yes. No.
Yeah.
He's my size.
Hey, girl. I'm doing.
Tell him I said happy birthday.
Celebration. Reach over to you.
You come around here. I was a trooper.
Yes. People out here or interns, either one. I'm really just, I started myself here, so I'm sure you're just kind of fading that. You know, so I hope that
Take care.
she's retired, but
You
she,
take care.
she will sub at the
And I
old
love
school. once in a
And I
while.
miss her old days at Red River.
She, and.
You know, the Baptist church.
Certainly. Still comes following. Yeah.
Hello.
So she always says, well, I gotta get this one through. Well, you know, then that always leads to one more and then one, yeah. Yeah. I know everybody in the kids. So they either will or they won't. I'm not gonna waste my money.
Appreciate that. Good to see you. How are you?
Shit, their Bible, then. It's an education. They don't get over here. Hound dog. Yes. Lord have mercy.
Okay, as the crowd left, we paused the recording,
3 hours.
and we have Sue Burton with Community Contacts and Family Engagement here to speak with us. So, Sue, you're on the floor.
I thought they were all here for me.
Well, they were, but they're gonna get a drink of water and use the bathroom.
Sure, you keep believing that one, Butchie.
Well, you know how I am.
First of all, I want to thank you all so much.
Sue,
I wanna
let me
thank-
stop you a second.
Okay,
It says memory full.
It's because you've used it the last 15 board meetings. Fix it, Robbie.
Hit the recording on pause and it says memory full.
You
You're all
recorded it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you'll make him a call.
And why am I fooling with that thing if you're recording it anyway?
He finally told you the truth, David. She finally leaked it out.
All right,
am I good to
go
go?
ahead, Sue.
Wasn't
I'm
like I
sorry.
wasn't nervous or something already.
Well, look here. It's just
Okay.
us.
I want to first of all thank the board members. Thank you all so much. Thank Mr. Barnett, Mr. Gaines, Mr. Lucas, Mr. Davis for your support of our family engagement program. We couldn't do what we do without everybody's support. So we want to thank you for that. Now, family engagement is, we have 8 community contacts, 1 at each school, and we're a team. We couldn't be successful without all the amazing people who are here to help and all of our community contacts. Tonight, there are 2 of them with me, and that's Judy Bird. She's at the high school, does a fantastic job. And Shandy Glenn back there, she's at Midway and also does a fantastic job.
Sometime when you get time, just make us a copy, a list of who they are at each school.
I can do that.
Okay. if
I
you
can do
could,
that. I-
and we can
I think
kinda-
it might be on one of your papers.
Okay, I'll
I
look.
think I put all their
Okay.
names, I believe.
Well,
If not, just
if
let
not,
me know.
we'll
and I'll
look and
fix it.
see. Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome.
Okay.
It's on,
good.
yeah, it's on here.
I hadn't got to the blue one.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I want to show you all just a little video. And this is going to show you all a couple of reasons that we do what we do. And this video was made by a filmmaker in California who came in, Mr. Anthony, can't remember his last name, but he came in and did a video, followed some of our grandfamilies around for a few days and did a video. And he is entering that video into a contest for Appalachian videos. So he's entering that into a contest and he's coming back this summer and going to do it more in depth and then enter it into a story contest for the media. So, and
Well, you
I'll
have to
talk-
get that for us.
Huh?
You have to get that and show it to us some night.
well, I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you right now. So here you go. Here's
I'm
here's
getting
just a
excited.
couple reasons that family engagement, why we do what we do.
You're responsible for everything. No longer you just get grandma up. Now you gotta get all the time. That was really hard. Especially when they missed her so much and they asked, what's mommy done today? When we gonna go home? So that was a lot for me.
I'm raising two grandchildren, 7 and 9. Matthew's the oldest, Leah's the youngest. Very rambunctious, very outspoken. Typical kids. Their circumstances is a little different than everybody else's, but we're dealing with it, and I think they're okay with it.
But my mom and dad, and then we were here. That my mom and dad don't work. My mom and dad about 2 minutes. And then the 2, 4, 3, 4, 7 was.
That makes you 17 years old.
Yeah.
Biggest son.
I became caregiver basically when they were born. We used to get them on the weekends, and they lived in poverty, I would say, because I supplied diapers, I supplied food, the necessities of what they needed every day. It's heartfelt. It touches me every time because it hurts me to know that they were going through this. And as a grandparent, I didn't know this because the parents did it so well. Matthew being 5 years old at the time, could barely tell me he was 5 years old. He could barely tell me even a color. He knew two, the purple and green. I'll never forget it. Aaliyah was the same. She was 4. She too could only tell me 2 colors, and she didn't know how old she was. There wasn't an ABC or 1, 2, 3 in their vocabulary whatsoever. Then finding
Best
out
thing you've seen,
that
like the.
Aaliyah had lost thoughts since she was born, that's grounds for neglect. And that's when I went ahead with procedures to legalize everything. I had brought up on the computer some paperwork just to get them over the line, make them sign it so that they wouldn't call and say kidnapped. Because that's the mind frame of them all, because drugs were heavy at that time. And the mother at this time was 36 weeks pregnant. And unfortunately, we had a miscarriage in April. And I received the children in July. In a way, I want to say God's will, because I don't know what I would have done with a newborn. I do know when he was 5, just before we got him into West Virginia, he had said, Mama, I don't like the dark. And I said, you don't, what's wrong with the dark? He said, well, I walked into a dark house. And he said there was somebody that was shot. And I said, you saw this? And he said, yeah. He said, Mom, Dad was with me. He said, and somebody just shot this guy and he was just laying there. Even then I said that the dark brings that back up, and he said, yeah. I said, guess what? And I went over and flipped the light switch. I said, there's always lights on in my house. What they do, not having water, being evicted, not having electricity, not having food. They were panhandling. They were, I mean, they'll tell me. We used to stay on this corner right here and ask for money. I've had them for going on 40 years, and I think they've moved at 6 different addresses since I've had the kids. So it's like, there's no stickers. There's no where to call. I would like the kids to go back. I would. They need their parents. And, but I can't spend them back not knowing that they've straightened up. They still today believe, all I have to do is tell my lawyer, I don't want these kids anymore to send them home. Well, after you've lied to a judge so many times and you failed drug tests, I think we gotta have more proof than me just saying, I don't want it. I believe if I did that, they would have foster care. You know, and I will do anything I can not to have that happen.
Why is that important to you to always smile and also?
Now that, oh, that's tough, yeah, because if you're gonna walk down that lane, I was abused from the time I was 3. I was put in my first foster care when I was 11. My biggest monster was my mother. I was afraid of the dark. I could live in the dark. I couldn't live with my mother. I was abused. I was severely abused. I was sexually abused from the time I was 3 until I was 11. Lived in 36 foster homes before I became an adult of my own. I had to get pregnant to do that, I felt. So I've had it rough, or have. But I never looked at my background as something bad I learned from. I became the person I am today because of what she put me through. I knew I didn't want to be that person. Your smile. Something difficult. And apparently for my kids and for my grandkids. Try to get that. Notice that my God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. So that you can listen more than you speak. No, we have to practice. I'm gonna leave a praise. And I'll lay down, please. And all the things that I've been through. Raising grandkids is hard. And it's because your heart is there. It's with them. You can't just lock it away and say, I can't feel today. You're not getting away with this, no matter what. Because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. They're happy. And most everybody that comes to meet them or see them or visit with them will say, keep together. They're settled. They're happy. Yeah, they miss that, but they know this is home. They know they're being provided for them and they're being taken care of. And they want to hear it.
And that is why we do what we do. You saw them opening Christmas presents. Those were probably provided by us. So that is why we do what we do. Like I said, he'll be back in the summer and he's going to follow some more families and make a longer film and present it. I'll go more into Grand Families program here just in a few minutes. But right now I want to talk about a list on the blue sheet. If you look at your blue sheet, you will see the total of items distributed to families this school year by family engagements, facilitator, community contacts, and it names all those. And then also social workers, counselors, and communities and schools workers. For food since August, we have given out 91,200 items, hygiene, 2,150 items, clothing and shoes, 4,250 items, school supplies, 1,825 items, and we've conducted 44 family night events.
Sue, can I ask a quick question here?
Yes,
Are all of these for children or are they for adults too?
this is for children. Our family engagement program is for children, and I have a separate program for grand families, which is adults and children.
But this is just,
Yes,
children.
this is children. Yes.
You know, Sue, I just had a conversation with Mr. Bell about that. Sometimes, folks question why we choose to have school on a particular day or something like that. And, and my response to that a lot of times is we want to teach who we can get here. And the other thing is we have so many families in this county that suffer from food insecurity
Exactly.
that I want to make sure that we get them here and feed them if
Oh,
we can.
yeah.
Yes.
Till you're there, you don't know it.
And that's why we, now that you're on that subject, that's why we partner with a lot of churches. We partner with a lot of businesses. We had a church recently that donated $300 to get snacks to put in the kids' backpacks for Easter. And she said, get what you want. And I said, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to get. I said, the kids have a lot of canned ravioli and viney weenies and potted meat in their bags. So I'm going to get junk. So I took church money and bought junk. I didn't take federal or state. So I bought junk. I bought cookies. I bought crackers. I bought cakes. I bought everything. Junk. And I'm sure those kids had a good Easter. So, okay. And now, back to my thing. Okay, we partner with businesses, churches, community members, and nonprofits. That's how we get a lot of our money to supply our families. Now, Mr. Gaines does have some money that he helps us funding with. I'm not sure, is that Title I that we use sometimes for hygiene? And yeah, so he gives us money as well for families for hygiene and stuff like that, clothing, shoes. And one of our great partners is State Farm, Kelly Dial. She's a great partner with us. And the reason I call her out is because she has done so much, even so much as recently. Judy was reaching out to sponsors for students at the high school for Christmas gifts. And immediately Kelly contacted me and she's like, I want to do that. So State Farm shopped, paid for everything for the whole, they got a whole outfit, a new pair of shoes, not Walmart shoes, mall shoes, because this is high school kids. We don't shop at Walmart for junior high and high school. So anyway, she bought, all of them got a pair of shoes, all of them got an outfit. And then she told them to pick one thing that they want. So a lot of them wanted basketball, football, girls wanted makeup, said put two things down. And so they put two things that way. If they didn't have it at the store, they could get the other. Well, she ended up buying them everything they had on the list. So those kids, 34 of them, Judy, 34 students at the high school got everything they had on their list. So State Farm is awesome. And they also donate to Special Olympics. They donate to my grand families program. So I just wanted to call her out because she does an amazing job. Okay, as far as volunteer trainings, we've had 17 trainings this year, which you all have approved 480 volunteers for Lincoln County Schools this school year. So thank you for
K
that.
through 12?
That's K through
Okay.
12, yes. Actually, it's pre-K
Pre-K
through
through
12.
12.
Okay, now I'm going to get to our grand
So do
families
you have
program.
many though at the high school?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you have many at the high school? Volunteers?
Volunteers.
Yeah.
We have some, most of the high school, Judy can answer that. Most of the high school, I think, want to do the field trips
Mhm.
and the activities, sports. Yes, yes. Now in elementary and some middle school, they come in and want to do everything. But when you get to high school,
They just-
they mostly don't want to come in during school, but
and-
they like all the
yeah.
after activities. So yeah, we have a lot. Okay, the green sheet, that is our grand families program, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Last year when I talked to you all, we had 93 or 95 grand families. And my goal was at that time to get 100. Well, I surpassed the goal. We have 103 grand families. So I'm proud of that. And we've had lots of press for our grand families program. Channel 13 interviewed us and actually visited the grand family that you saw on there and did an interview with her. She was on the news and everything. And our program, I was told by West Virginia State University, who actually heads this, it's called Healthy Grandfamilies. And I was told by them at our conference that Judy and I attended a few months ago that Lincoln County is the fastest growing and most successful grandfamilies program in the state. So that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
We love helping these people.
If you ever have another one of them picnics, I want an invite.
Have a what?
Another one of those picnics or get together.
Oh, we will. Oh, we're getting to that next.
All right.
We're getting to that next. Okay, and also every grandfamily for Christmas received a $50 food voucher for food fair, and every grandfamily for Thanksgiving got a $30 for a turkey or a ham for Thanksgiving. So that's 100 times that. So if you'll look at the green sheet, United Way of River Cities, I've written several grants and we've gotten every one I've written. United Way of River Cities gave us $26,000. Foundation for the Tri-State Community, $48,000. And West Virginia State University, $10,000. The legislature gave us $2,500. And the Healthy Grandfamilies Program gave us $2,800. So that's $89,300 in grants that we have received for our Grandfamilies Program. Last year, it was $44,500. My goal next year is $100,000. So I'll be reporting to y'all next year on over $100,000.
I believe it.
Hopefully,
I believe it.
hopefully. The Foundation for the Tri-State Community, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about that, who is behind that. If you remember Ross Drugs in Hamlin, West Hamlin, well, he became a friend of mine whenever he was here in Lincoln County. He gave a lot of donations to our schools. He donated all the backpacks for our preschool and kindergarten registrations. He gave money. He did a lot of things for our county. I didn't know this. He was putting money in a trust fund for Lincoln County. Well, he called me this summer, and he's in India now. He went back, gave up his business, went back to take care of his older parents. So he called me. He came in for the week, and he said, "Can I meet you?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm at the Board of Education." So he came on the parking lot and called me and said, "Can you come out here?" So I went out and sat in a Jeep, and he said, "Tell me some of the programs you're doing in Lincoln County." And I told him, I didn't know what was up, and I told him, and he said, "Tell me again about that Grandfamilies program." So I told him, and he said, "That sounds like a good cause to donate to." He said, "I'd like to donate some money to that." I said, "Awesome." I thought he was going to say $10,000. He said $50,000. He said, "My lawyer will call you tomorrow." So apparently the lawyer got 2,000 because I ended up with 48.
That's about right.
So I get 12,000 a year for 4 years. So we have 48,000 from him. So, and he called me a couple of weeks ago. Not only did he donate, he let me have the old building out here for storage. So we have all of our family engagement stuff stored out here in the old Ross Drug building. And so he doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to try to tell him to use it as a tax write-off next year. And I'm going to fix that up and make it Lincoln County Family Engagement Center. So that's my goal too. Okay. If you'll look on the Grandfamilies, the green sheet, you can see all the distributions that we've given to the Grandfamilies. And we can do anything for the Grandfamilies. There's no cap on what items we can help them with. We recently helped a family put on a roof. I have a grandfamily that needs 2 windows that she's going to Branch and Lumber to get tomorrow. We've given car seats, microwaves, furniture, beds. Beds are a big item because grandfamilies get the grandkids in. They don't have anywhere to sleep. So we've got a lot of beds,
Now,
water heaters.
Are the grandparents the real grandparents of these kids? that
Yes,
take-
they have to be.
Okay,
To be in the program, they had
Okay.
to be the real grandparents
on either side.
on either side.
Okay.
And they have to be living with them.
Okay,
They had to live with them.
without.
They don't
that
have to have
parent.
custody. They
Does the
just
pa-
have to live with
Okay,
them.
does one of the parent that had them, do they come too?
The
Or just
parent,
children?
no, the parent, if the parents live with the grandparents, they can't sign up.
Okay,
So every time I get somebody to sign up, I have to check. I
Make
check
sure.
Weavis to make sure they're living with them. I check with counselors, social workers, whoever would know to make sure that those kids actually
that's
live
part
with
of the
them.
grant you write for is that has to be part of it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
What percentage of these grandparents that's raising their grandchildren are doing so because of drugs?
Well, West Virginia is the second in the nation
Mhm.
for raising grandparents, for raising grandkids, second in the nation. They estimated, they have a map online that you can look at, and they estimated Lincoln County as 70% grandfamilies raising grandkids.
Yeah, but
But
is drugs the reason primarily?
that's what we talked about at the conference, yes. Primarily, drugs is a reason. Sometimes it's a death. Sometimes the parent is in jail. Just different reasons, but probably, I would say 90% is drugs. Because most of the grand families that I talk to and we serve, most of them have told me, my kids are on drugs. My kids can't watch their kids. So yeah, I would say at least 90%.
Yeah.
And we do have a couple that the parents have died and one that they're in jail. So Yeah.
I am close friends with Judge Hoke. We work out together.
uh-huh.
And we talk about this, and he's now seeing the fourth generation of the same family through his court system. Fourth generation.
Wow.
And,
It doesn't surprise me.
and we talk about the reason, and it's drugs, drugs, drugs.
hmm
And I look at young people starting out with their families and, being a parent, you get to be a parent with no license, no experience, no nothing. You just get to be a parent and you've got this baby
No job
and
training.
there's no instructional manual to tell you how to do it right.
Mhm.
And it's trial and error.
Yeah.
I look back on my children that I had, and I think my wife and I did a pretty good job. But boy, I can see the mistakes in hindsight that I made.
Me too.
Once upon a time, we had classes taught in high school, parenting classes. Now, I'm not sure that those parenting classes ever were very effective. But when do we teach kids? The kids coming through this Grand Families program, they're there because there were mistakes made with their parents.
Right.
Now, here we've got the kids. Where do we break this cycle? How do we break this cycle? Do we need a parenting class in high school that all kids have to take to say, hey, these are some very basic fundamentals you need to have? We got to break this cycle.
Yeah. Now we
Uh,
do have a childcare class over to high school.
That's probably 20 kids a year
Yeah.
out of 800.
Well, it's about 25 or 30, actually. Sometimes I hear them say.
I'm
But that's-
hoping through the Grand Families program, because we have sessions on different topics, I'm hoping that will help, because whenever we have a big session, like you were talking about, we have the grandkids to come. and they have a ball. And sometimes they will listen to some of the stuff we talk about. And then sometimes we don't let them listen to some of the stuff we talk about. But when we have had them and the kids are there, you could tell they're like interested because it involves their life.
Now, so
They
do you go
know
to
what
every
we're
school?
saying is them.
You go to every school site?
We have the that's what the community contacts are for.
Okay.
Every school site, the community contacts have contact. I have a list with the grand families at every school, and I give it to the community contacts and I keep it myself. And then I'll send out a letter from here to all grand families, and then they pick up things at the school. The community contacts come here, get all the supplies and everything, and then they contact the grand families, and the grand families go to the closest school.
So every.
Because
school
a
has
lot of 'em-
contact.
Every school
Great,
has community
great.
contact. That way they go to the closest school.
Yes.
Just because their kid goes to West Hamlin, they may live in Branchland, so we send them to Guy Valley. Because some of them don't have a ride, some of them have to have a neighbor take them and things like that, so,
I got
that's
one
good.
other question.
okay.
You are funded through,
Grants and the Healthy Grand Families Program and the legislature. Legislature don't give a lot,
no,
but
but I'm
they,
talking about you personally, your
oh,
position.
me,
Yeah. You're
Mr.
funded through
Gaines.
Mr. Gaines's program.
Yes, sir.
Well, but we gotta make sure we don't run out. We need this woman.
Sue is a priority. We'll have
Good.
some next year.
Good.
Okay, good show.
Yeah.
so are the community contacts. They're needed as well, so.
Are they board?
They are
employees?
part-time. They are
Part-time board
29 hours a week, with no benefits.
Okay.
They're also paid.
Very valuable.
Good,
Yeah,
good. That's good to know.
So,
very valuable.
so those are all the paid employees, you and the community contacts,
Yes,
basically.
yes.
And let me ask you one other quick question here. I see, you mesh all these grants together and come up with programs, right?
Uh-huh.
Do any of these grants have guidelines on what they can and cannot be used for, or are they just general and you can do what you want to get?
Okay. Sometimes the river cities, United Way,
Mhm.
sometimes there are stipulations on their grants. This one, the 26,000, there was no stipulations. The Foundation for Tri-State, no stipulations. Research and Development, no stipulations. Legislature, no stipulations. So none of these this year that I have stipulations. That's why I'm able to fix roofs. That's why I'm able to buy windows. That's why I'm able to pay utilities. I've paid a lot of utilities this year. But that's
unusual.
why, because there's no restrictions on the funding this year. Now, last year, there were restrictions on some, and that's when Mr. Gaines was gratefully helping me, because he would buy the hygiene and stuff, and I would buy food and clothes. So he was a big help with that last year whenever I did have
You
stipulation.
got to just sit down together and look at what's there and then
Yes.
figure out what he can legally
Yes.
do and you can do.
Yes.
Good way.
And Aldi's gave us a grant as well for $500, and I spent that at Aldi's for several families for food, so.
Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation, out of Charleston. They are eager to, they serve Lincoln County, but they
Yes.
get very few requests from Lincoln County. So put those people on your contact list.
I had one grant from them last year, and I was going to apply for one that they sent me out last month. My husband passed away, so I didn't get to do that grant in time. So sorry, but
Looks like
I
this is
didn't
actually funded by the,
Mhm.
also by the grant.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
that is,
yeah.
that's a grant that we partner with Adventure for that grant. So yes, we do have a Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation grant,
Okay.
What
but
about-
it's through us and Adventure.
What about Benedum? Would they cover any of?
What about
you
who?
do? Benedum Foundation.
Benedum.
I mean, I don't know whether it would fit any of your needs or not.
I don't know, but I can research that and see. And we also have this year for the first time, which we learned at the conference several months ago, the first time ever, there is money now for McKinney-Vento grandfamilies, just for the grandfamilies. So
They're
like the,
raising their grandchildren.
yeah, so like the roof that we replaced for that lady, they're going to reimburse us for that.
Oh,
McKinney-Vento is going to reimburse us for that. The windows that I'm buying for the other family, McKinney-Vento is going to reimburse us. They told me anything that keeps the kids from attending school, then that would qualify.
Is that
So a
why-
leaky roof qualifies, broken windows qualify,
is that why your title money, or is that a totally new separate?
totally separate.
Kenny Vento, what is that?
For home.
The homeless,
The home.
yes, yes.
It
Now,
is
there's
wonderful.
homeless for regular families, but this is separate.
Okay, yeah, this is
Okay.
another.
And I think it's $300,000. And I asked, is there a limit? And they said no. And I said, okay, you're going to be getting all kinds of it from me. So I'm going to send in everything I can send in for reimbursement.
Right.
And that way we can use our grant money for other
What you
stuff.
needed for something else.
Absolutely,
Wonderful, Sue.
absolutely.
Yes, I appreciate that the work that you do for all of our kids.
Well, thank you. I couldn't do it without my community
That's
contact.
exactly
And
right.
help
And we
them.
thank you.
The help of my money bag.
And
here.
money bags helps too. Yeah, money bags.
And Austin keeping me straight.
He keeps you on the financial
He
right
does.
way.
He does. He keeps me straight. Okay, last,
Job.
I'm sorry, my thing was going to be 5 minutes and I
Here,
just
we've
got
asked you
carried
100
away.
questions, and it's nice to hear that.
And I'm not as nervous as I thought I'd be.
Well, you know us all.
Jeremy looks at me and smiles every now and then. I do okay. All right. Now, the last thing is Lincoln County Family Summit.
Yeah,
That's going to be a big deal, and that is funded by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation grant.
can we come?
We are partner, absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely. Anybody can come.
okay.
And it's going to be at the high school on April the 27th,
For me to grab.
and the time is 10 to 3. And Adventure is coming. They're paying for everything through this grant. We partnered with Adventure a couple years ago, well, several years ago, and they brought over $200,000 to Lincoln County. And we used that for family engagement and for all kinds of stuff. They even let us use that for some of the salaries and the stipends and stuff like that. So they contacted us again this year and they asked me if I wanted to partner with them on this grant. And I said, absolutely. So I wrote some of the stuff for them for this grant and they were able to get the grant. So they're partnering with us and it's a free family event. And Mr. Bell, you will be happy to know that Mr. Barnett made sure that the girls are going to be over there, Miss Dion and Miss Sarah and Miss Joni, and they're going to bring iPads and they're going to show parents how to look at iReady. And the bus drivers will be there and they're going to try to get people hired in for bus driving. And Mr. Gaines is going to be there. He's going to show parents about Schoology and talk about after school events. And we're going to be, family engagement is going to be there, signing up more grand families and talk to parents about volunteering. And so you are more than welcome. The only thing
My phone number so you can call me the day before because I want to come.
okay. Well, the only thing is we appreciate it if everybody that wants to go would scan that and register.
Okay.
Because there's going to be free food by Wayne, Saved by Grace. So you got to come and get a Wayne
Cody, I
barbecue.
think you also put that as a forms document on our website, didn't you?
I did not.
He
get
did.
anything
Yeah, that's what I
in my
thought.
folder.
Yes, thank you. Yes, he did. Twice, I believe. Once a couple weeks ago and then again today. Yeah, twice I saw it on there.
So
So
we just need to bring this to, or just register? with
just
it?
register,
Okay.
register. They just want to know how much food to have.
How many plates?
Okay, and I have just a couple more things to say and I'm finished.
That's the longest 5 minutes of.
It's flown. This is when I have to watch football games on TV. That's what it is
Well,
today.
the only reason I'm doing this is because I'm not as nervous as I thought I'd be.
Well,
So
It's
I
just
just talk
us.
your head off all day. I told Mr. Barnett, I said, put me in a costume and I'll do great. Put me in Miss Dr. Quack costume, right, Butchie?
Yes, I love it.
I Dr. Quack Butchie when she retired many years ago.
And she was wonderful.
Okay,
The kids loved her.
here's what I'd like to say. Our kids and our families and grandfamilies continue to need our help. Sometimes it's the little things that make a difference, such as a new pair of shoes, a backpack, clean clothes, or a dinner. Not all of us teach math, science, ELA, but we teach things that are just as important. We teach kindness, helpfulness, sympathy, compassion. We let them know that they're loved and important. We've been to many homes delivering. I tell you, if the teachers would go to these homes, I think it would change a lot of attitudes. We've been hugged. We've cried with them. We've took them places. We do it all. But we let them know how much we love them and how important they are. And it's a great feeling when you're in the grocery store or at a ball game and the kids will come up and say, Mama Sue, and they're so excited, or Judy or Shandy, it's good to see you. So that's our pay. That's our pay. Y'all keep paying us, but that's our pay. We love it. We love it.
Yeah.
And my grandson said, gosh, Mama, everybody knows you. And I said, I'm Mama Sue. Okay, but also, we love what we do. Community contacts are so important to our schools. Couldn't do what I do without them. And we feel like the saying, if you have a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's the Family Engagement Department for Lincoln County Schools. So thank y'all for your time. Sorry it wasn't 5 minutes.
I liked it.
Thank you, Sue.
Sue, I liked it.
Thank you all.
Thank you for bringing us this information and letting us know more about it.
I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Good job.
All right,
Yes.
Mr. Gaines, you're up.
Boy, that's a hard act to follow.
I must say, in terms of family engagement, Sue Burton is probably the top family engagement coordinator in the state. Really not a second place. She has done so much these last couple of years. I stay out of her way. That's what I do. I stay out of her way. She is a force of nature. I tell everybody the hardest working person in Lincoln County is Sue Burton. She is irreplaceable. You can replace me in 2 seconds. Can't replace Sue Burton. Don't cry, Sue. Don't cry. Don't cry. I have 2 quick items to go over. Item 1, about 6 weeks ago, we started the application process for the Purple Star Award. That award is for counties who support military families. So we finally finished the applications for all 8 schools, which included the district. So the state will hand out the award hopefully to us in May. Only 14 counties have received this award, so we're hopeful to join that club. So we'll know by probably the middle of May for that.
What does that mean? I
Well,
mean, could you explain it just a little bit?
Well, the Purple Star Award is for a county and a school that supports military families in terms of you have to have evidence that you do. We have had evidence in terms of we have military days. The high school has, of course, the ROTC program. So every school must provide an application that says that we're doing this, this, and this to support military families. And one of the big requirements is to tag those kids into WEVIS, because we have a lot of families whose kids have parents in the military, but we're not tagging them. So we've done a great job over the last 3 months of just finding out that your father's in the military. So let's tag those guys.
You think you got everybody?
We're still missing a little bit, but from last year to this year, it's a huge turnaround.
Yeah.
So we continue with that. We have a Purple Day in April to support military families. So we'll pick one day in the next month, and every student in the county will hopefully wear purple to support military families. But it's one of those awards that has great feeling and meaning towards the county. And we all know that. I mean, I grew up an Army brat in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. So this is one of the things that was kind of special to me, that we kind of get this program for Lincoln County. So
You submit it yearly, and when do you submit it?
I submitted it about 2 weeks ago. So we had one more school to submit. We submitted that school. So it kind of kicked in the process for the State Department. So like I said, they'll let us know in May. And I mean, it's pretty much a done deal, but they'll give us a lot of pomp and circumstance. We'll have banners and so forth. Yeah.
It'd be nice if the teachers at each school would wear purple that day.
Well, everyone's going to wear purple,
Good, good.
hopefully.
Well, I'd at least, get the principals to.
Oh, yeah,
Turn it up
we're
and
going to
get
take care of
the
that.
teachers to do
Take care of that, yeah. Next up is item D. This is a required approval of an MOU to apply for a 21st Century After-School Grant for Lincoln County High School, Midway, West Hamlin, Guyan Valley, and Hamlin. Right now, those 5 schools have an after-school program paid out of ESSER funds. So once ESSER funds runs out, those 5 schools will not have after-school program.
When does that run out, Steve?
September.
Oh, okay.
We have our remaining 2 schools, Duval and Harts, have a earlier 21st century grant that we got 2 years ago, but those 5 remaining schools do not. So we're applying for a new 21st century grant to incorporate those 5 schools. The application is due at the end of the month, and we'll know probably by mid-May if we got it. It's $250,000 for 5 years.
And,
Each year, $250,000.
okay, what's the 5 schools again are Harts, Midway?
No, it's Midway, Lincoln County High School,
Okay.
Hamlin, West Hamlin, Guyan Valley.
And these on here are the remaining 21st century grants that you already have in operation.
Yeah, that's based Duval and Harts.
Okay.
And they have another 3 years on their grant cycle.
And what about Midway here? What's that?
Mid-May is one of the 5 schools we're applying for now.
For now.
But you're applying for summer enrichment teacher.
That's different.
That's different.
Yeah.
Okay. Has nothing to do.
No, this is just an MOU saying that we're
We're on
going to apply for it.
Well,
The
yeah,
board recognizes that.
People
Okay.
being hired for the
Gotcha.
summer.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
okay. Sorry,
That's all
I'm
right.
confused among programs, okay?
Oh, we got a lot of stuff going on.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, so we'll know probably in May if we get it. It's very competitive. I've had every school contribute in some way towards the application process with a need statement and some data entry. So it's one of those things. If we get it, we're set for 5 years. If we don't, we've got to be very creative next year.
And you'll know in May.
We'll know in May.
Okay.
Any questions? See how I do it in 2 minutes.
Good job.
Just keep it up. Good work.
You're the money man and she's the
Thank you.
feet and the legs and the heart.
All right, that brings us to item 4, public hearing. The floor is open to receive public comment regarding the proposed school calendar for the 24-25 school year. Do we have anyone that wants to comment? All right, if not, we'll move on to item 5, approval of minutes of the March 19 and March 22nd meetings. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Burns,
Second.
Wilson?
I abstained.
Oh,
I abstained because
She wasn't here.
on the 19th, I didn't know what time it was.
no,
So
And on 22nd, I was out of town. I didn't
we've
know.
had a,
It's gonna be
Burns
called.
make the motion, Wilson second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we have 1 abstention from Martin because she was not here. And it passes 4-0 with 1 abstention. Administrative items, any discussion?
I have a question about B, Nashville, Tennessee. There is a conference that some of our teachers going to. What is that conference?
It's a conference for special education, and during the special circumstances review a couple years ago, there were some problems in a couple of the schools, and this is part of their improvement plan.
Gotcha.
So the state recommended that some of them go and,
Well, they had
On a
to
little
come up
bit.
with an improvement plan. This was
Okay.
part of their improvement plan.
okay. Let's see.
Any other discussions, comments on the administrative items?
I had some, but I think Mr. Gaines answered my questions
Okay,
among the schools and the grants. So,
I make a motion that we approve.
Wilson makes a motion,
Second.
Snyder seconds, and my pen just fell apart. Snyder makes a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And unanimous. Brings us to the finance section. Do we have any discussion? That's the white sheet.
Very mild.
For once, I don't have a question.
Little old
I
hair.
learned all the vendors, so, and I moved. They,
She makes a motion.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll second.
Martin makes the motion, Burns seconds. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? None. Brings the personnel schedule. Any discussion?
What is the summer enrichment program this summer?
Mr. Gaines.
So every year we use ESSER funds to have a summer school program. We call it summer enrichment.
That's COVID funds.
So this year we're going to have it at Midway, the central office, the high school and Harts. So students can, like, for instance, if you go to Duval, you can go to the Midway
Right.
site. So every site will have opportunity to have all the students in Lincoln County. So it's a 4 to 5 week program, Monday through Thursday, free transportation, free food. We staff each site with excellent teachers. And a lot of the activities are just hands-on activities. We try to stay away from the rigor of school. It's more fun in terms of STEM activities.
Okay.
Some field trips are in there. So just a summer enrichment, summer school back in the day.
And
How
you
many-
explained to us before.
Yeah.
At a previous meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you usually have one teacher or are there enough to have two teachers there sometimes?
Every site has between 3 and 5 staff.
Oh, do they?
So it's
Great.
15 kids to every site, every staff,
17 to each,
15 to every.
15?
Yeah.
with each class or just to every site?
Every teacher is allowed to have 15 kids.
Okay,
So it could be K-1
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
It all depends on what.
On who comes and
Yeah,
how
yeah,
they do
yeah.
it. Okay.
Any other discussion? Not, I ask for a motion and a second. Thank you, Mr. Gaines. Motion and a second to approve personnel items.
So move.
Snyder makes the motion.
Second.
Wilson seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's unanimous. Brings us to comments and concern. Duval Midway update.
The demo company's pulling out tomorrow. They've gotten everything's down, everything's cleared. Everything's, they tore up the rest of the asphalt today. They were working out in this rain. We were up there this morning. They finish up, then we'll go through the punch list with our clerk of the works, and I will tell you, we couldn't have whittled ourselves a better clerk of the works because he holds them to the fire. There's no question about it. And, they're doing really well. The construction crew has moved in. They started,
They're moving dirt.
they're moving dirt, and they're called what's called now is grubbing. They can go up and they can cut trees, but they can't move them yet. The permits that were supposed to not happen until the 6th actually come through on the 2nd.
Oh, my gosh.
So we're 100% compliant now, and they're rocking and rolling.
Okay.
If the rain
So
holds.
weather permitting, they're gonna start doing stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
That's great.
I've just got ask for an update on your deer program to drop everything and remediate. You have any update on that?
I do. Mrs. Shortridge and her crew have been out to every school, checking on what's going on and offering assistance. And she said they've taken it and run with it. They're doing a good job with it. And then I put it out again the other day. We every once in a while, you refer to it as general pressure applied consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm doing. And they're moving and shaking. So I'm real pleased with what's going on right now.
Now, what is this really consisting of at the school level?
This is what they're doing is they're working, concentrating on groups, and it might be they might do some just on test prep. They might be doing something on how to eliminate incorrect answers from a multiple choice situation. It's sometimes kids don't know how to take a test.
We don't study that in our
So-
regular curriculum.
So they're
very
doing that, and
much.
then they're going on, it's just a reinforcement of the curriculum. While they have their regular
Yeah,
dose of
true.
math
Yeah.
here at second period, they get their extra helping at the end of the day in this deer.
Okay.
They work on their weakness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're,
extra
yeah,
period.
they're addressing weaknesses.
And
Yeah.
different
Based on the
teachers
student.
do it.
It's based on the individual student. needs.
And the individual school and who
Right.
does it.
Yes.
Great.
Historically, these kind of things, well, after you do them a while, they kind of, you get more lax and more lax and more lax, and after a while, nobody's doing it anymore. This really needs to be a part of our standard school day all the
Every
time,
Every
period.
day.
We're
all-
doing that.
every
It'll be
year.
called something else next year,
Yes.
but we're calling it, next year, they're gonna,
Oh, dear.
Well,
That-
I'm hopeful that when the I-ready testing takes place this month, I believe,
Mhm.
or early May, whatever it is, that the results will show, even with this limited period of time.
Yeah.
It will show a marked improvement and people will want to do it.
And they're especially the pre-K eights, pre-K middle schools, they're doing and the high schools too, they're scheduling an extra time during the day in their next year's schedule. It's called walk to intervention.
Yeah.
And it's just for that purpose.
I can see with the emphasis on the iPads and the iReady for students to have this summer, that when they come back in the fall, and that they will not only have not regressed, but they've actually made advances.
Well, and that's one of the things, that's why we're doing a parent
Yeah.
training with this.
Got that Sue talked
And
about.
then we're also doing a Dion, my crew in there with Dion and Sarah and Jerry and Joni. They are also working on some things to train parents on and to give them to take home with them at the end of the year so that we don't fall behind. We can progress. These are some things you should know by this time. Here's some ways to teach it. Here are some possible interventions. Been working with Armstrong. I talked to Mr. Vance there the other night. We had an equipment issue, but they just about got that settled. So if we don't make it happen this year, we'll make it happen next year to where we can post videos up on our
Yeah.
channel. We're going to dedicate a
You
channel
know
to
that's on
that.
your evaluation for
understand
this year.
I can't control equipment.
Or the telephone.
I've been working on it. How long?
And that also brings us up, I think we, statute wise have to sit down with you the first meeting in May, I
May.
believe.
It is.
And, go over the evaluation with you at that point.
Well, we have to
So,
look for some time
we'll-
before or after
We'll start
5 o'clock.
familiarizing ourselves with it again.
Yeah,
I need to see.
yeah, and we need to set a time too, because we're, 6 o'clock, it's too late to do that. We're gonna have to come early.
So has anybody got anything else?
For early outs, late and the storm the other day, they're just bragging and bragging on Mr. Barnett's decision, so. Since evaluation's coming up, I want to say.
That's And you know what? They'd like to know what we're gonna do, because I know.
hate social media, but you see it on there, used to be gripes and complaints.
And now
you
it's-
see, we're so thankful.
Yes, I know.
So if you watch social media long enough,
See everything.
you can see every opinion out there. But Mr. Barnett has, well, quite frankly, we made a good choice when we hired Mr. Barnett. He's active and out and about. I don't know where he gets his energy.
Tammy's a
But
good cook.
he cares about kids and he relates to them. Mr. Barnett has a very personal story that I think needs to be told.
When he's ready.
Well, but it needs to be a public story. I think it would echo and resonate with the people in the county. And I'm pleased we've got him. We're going to torch him on that evaluation, though. But he's doing a great job. And if I think this board has done a lot of good things in the last year and a half to 2 years, and Mr. Barnett's hiring is one of the very top. With that, I'll quit embarrassing you.
Well, thanks.
So, has anybody got anything else?
No, but
And
I'm
our
coming
next
to this
meeting
family
is
event, so-
April the 16th. I erroneously said last week it would be this coming Tuesday, but that's the second Tuesday. Okay. So, do I have a motion and a second to adjourn
So moved.
until April 16th? Wilson makes the motion.
Second.
Martin makes the second. The time is 7:15 PM. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And this meeting is adjourned.